Ladies and gentlemen, your host for the 2002 Ethnic Business Awards, Geraldine Doo.
Thank you, and welcome to the 14th Annual Ethnic Business Awards. Events of late have not only shown how fragile and interconnected our world has become, but also the lengths to which some will go to keep us divided. Well, tonight we're here to highlight and celebrate our unity, so it's a great night to be here. From this stage at Sydney's magnificent Le Montage, I see an amazing group of people who've travelled from the furthest corners of the globe to become proud Australian citizens. Their pockets may have been empty when they reached these shores, but their hearts were full of hope. And with some bright ideas and plenty of hard yakka, you'll see that they have achieved success for themselves, for their families and for their newly adopted homeland. A great trifecta. Tonight we pay tribute to our migrant business community. We share their inspirational stories and we award their outstanding contributions. And to help me do just that, please make welcome our distinguished guests. Representing the Prime Minister, the Honourable Ian Macfarlane, the Minister for Industry, Tourism and Resources, and representing the Leader of the Opposition, Mr Laurie Ferguson, Shadow Minister for Citizenship and Multicultural Affairs. Would you also please welcome the major sponsors of tonight's awards, and I'll go through them because there are a few. On behalf of Telstra, the Chief Executive Officer, Dr Ziggy Switkowski. Representing the National Australia Bank is Mr Wayne Rees, the General Manager of Business Financial Services. Singapore Airlines is represented by their Senior Vice President, Southwest Pacific, Mr Max Wee Wah. From the Khosayan Group, we welcome the Managing Director, Mr George Khosayan. And on behalf of Western Union, Miss Emily Redmond. And from Le Montage, John and Sal Navarra. And ladies and gentlemen, what would an awards evening be without the judges, the real workhorses? Let's hear it for Carla Zampatti, King Fong, Eve Christiani and Arthur Sanderson. Now, tonight's 7 finalists, chosen, I might add, from hundreds of entrants around the country, are vying for 3 major awards. The first is a Special Initiative Award, and that's open to all finalists. Next is the Small Business Award for turnover of less than $5 million. And finally, the Medium to Large Business Award for turnover greater than $5 million. And our 3 major award winners will each receive $5,000 in prize money, 2 international Raffles business class tickets thanks to Singapore Airlines, a handheld PC from our friends at Telstra, and a superb crystal trophy. It's time now to meet our finalists in the first category of the evening. It's the Small Business Award for turnover of less than $5 million. Masako Koga arrived from Japan in 1995 and completed a Master of Arts in Applied Linguistics. On graduation day, I'm told she had the grand sum of $2 in her bank. And she soon used that to print leaflets for a unique style of language class that she had devised. In the first week, she had 1 student. 6 months later, there were 40. Today, Masako's La Lingua language school employs 70 staff members to help 400 people learn the English language. Masako is currently in Japan, so we spoke to her partner, Craig Mark.
Masako and myself felt that there was a need for better quality language education, and so Masako used the knowledge that she gained through her master's degree to establish her own unique style of language instruction.
Arigato!
Well, Masako and myself had little or no business experience, and so we had to effectively teach ourselves to overcome all the trials and errors of establishing a successful small business. such as overcoming the raft of government legislation, finding the effective way to market and advertise. But eventually, through these experiences, we found what was most successful, and in particular, we found that getting across our vision of a effective, communicative, real-life language teaching style was differentiated us from what is a very highly competitive market.
So,
Our students come from all around the world. Many of them come from Japan, China, South Korea, Thailand, but also from Latin America. And of course, we also have Australian people learning languages other than English, learning Japanese, Mandarin, Spanish, and Italian. We have a unique communicative approach as a basis for our language courses, which means that we concentrate on the real-life language that people use in their everyday experiences rather than more formal academic-based grammar, which more traditional language teaching has used. The future for Lingua is that we aim to maintain and increase the quality of our teaching and possibly to expand to other cities and possibly other countries to bring our unique communicative language approach throughout the world.
Congratulations, Masako Koga, a success in anyone's language. And our certificates are being presented tonight by Joseph Asaf of ETCOM, who created these awards, as I said, 14 years ago for the National Australia Bank and is still here to tell the tale. When Greek migrant Anastasios Sepralides, or Stan, as he likes to be called, settled in Victoria, he found everything he could ever want except for a decent pair of thermal underwear. So, with borrowed funds and an old sewing machine and a tiny spare bedroom for a workshop, he began designing and manufacturing his own. 23 years on, Stan's company, Katina Knitting Mills, produces some of the finest quality undergarments ever spun from our prized merino wool.
Yes, I come from Greece, and I am from very, very poor family, and coming to Australia because here is the lucky country here, plenty work. When I come in here, I'm married with 2 children and my wife too. I'm making the thermal underwear, pure underwear for men, for children, for ladies. Everything making here, sewing and cutting and packaging. And the name for my business come from my village. Katina was my village name. The first thing I buy 1 box from Yara Force, 1 box wool. Making about 100 garments. I need about half dozen for me. Another give to some of my friends. And then left another 50, 60 garments. I said, what are you going to do with that? I put in a newspaper. And next time I started studying by all of them. I said, something go well here. And I get the 2 boxes, 3 boxes, and today I get the 55 tons. Now working in the Katina Knitting Mills, 35 people in here in Victory, another 25 is full work in house, just makers, and salesmen altogether nearly 70 people. We supply in 10 countries, overseas countries like America, China, Japan, and we try to supply the American Army too. Yeah, we funded another fabric now, is the waterproof and the fireproof, and people like it very much. We have a big orders for that fabrics, because the first time we put in market waterproof fabrics. And I make it something else too. I put the magnetic on the product in the garments. This is for arthritics and all the things. I'm working with the American company to make this garment to put in the market too. Customer want to buy good quality and low price.
Congratulations, Stan. And a special thanks, Stan, for keeping us warm down under. When Akira Isagawa first arrived on a working visa, all he could say in English was, "Hello, how are you?" when What he really wanted to say was, I'm homesick and I'd like to return to Japan. Fortunately, he soon fell in love with Australia. In 1993, he opened his flagship store, Akira Design Studio, and in 1996, if you recall, presented his collection at the first Australian Fashion Week to rave reviews. Akira enjoys a high profile and enormous success now throughout the fashion world, but lists winning the Australian Designer of the Year award among his proudest achievements.
What excites me in fashion industry is fashion as a expression of personality rather than just following trend. And I like to see fashion in a more authentic manner rather than just a flavor of the moment. And I like to see myself wearing clothes that which right for me and expressing my feeling, my emotion in everyday basis. My way of actually constructing garments will be like perhaps more within three-dimensional feel rather than two-dimensional. In fact, actually I work with mannequin rather than actually working on a flat table. I find it easier for me to actually visualize how it looks when it's completed. My dream, is to establish my brand further nationally and internationally. Also, maybe introducing menswear or casual wear, I could access broader audience. I like to have my collection to be appreciated. I have actually approximately 55 clients, their shops or department store around the world, including Barney's in New York, Brown's in London. They're one of the most really prestigious stores. And working with those prestigious stores makes me feel really excited, especially when I see my collection in a window. I think the fashion industry in Australia has got great advantage. The fact is actually it's distanced from major commercial fashion industries such as manufacturing in Italy. Because Australia being so independent, we are able to actually do what we want, I guess. And we can be brave enough to believe in ourselves regardless of the trend. And I guess that's what I do. And the buyers love that.
Akira Isagawa. And congratulations, Akira, on yet another award to add to your spring collection. Well, we now move to our second category of the evening and meet the finalists vying for the Medium to Large Business Award for turnover greater than $5 million. Working by day and studying by night, Lebanese-born Khalil Aida and his 5 brothers were determined to succeed. In 1987, they entered the highly competitive freight transport industry with a delivery van, 2 trucks and a small shed in the back blocks of Melbourne. Today, that rusted shed has been replaced by multi-million-dollar high-tech depots that make up their Blue Star logistics network around the country.
Since my arrival here in Australia, I've done various jobs, and I worked for 2 years for my Nicholas, and I learned more about trucking business, and then decided just to look for small transport business, and we found Blue Star Transport. So we started the business with me and my brother Mustafa, and then later on the rest of the brothers joined us. So we're 6 brothers altogether. The core business is door-to-door express freight service. So we do local deliveries, we do country deliveries, we do interstate, overnight services, and we do storage and warehousing, and we've got logistics solutions and latest technology. We transport almost anything, everything, from food products to nursery goods, bikes, building materials, stationary materials. We transport around Australia. We got branches in all capital cities. We employ 260 people, 140 of them permanent, and we've got 120 contractors working for Blue Star. Well, our vision for Blue Star Logistic, for the future, to see Blue Star Logistic as an international company. We're looking to start a new branch now in New Zealand and move to the air freight business, sea freight, and be as a this consultant for the freight services just around the world, and especially in particular in the Middle East. Customers comes to Blue Star Logistic because of our flexibility, because our treatment of customers, because we treat our customers as extension to our service, to our business, and to our family. We are approachable and accessible to our customers anytime, 24 hours a day and 7 days a week.
Ladies and gentlemen, Khalil Ida. And congratulations, Khalil Ida, for keeping your business well and truly on the move. And now another remarkable story. Forced to flee Cambodia's Pol Pot regime, which had claimed the lives of 12 family members, Che Hua Ung, her husband and children, arrived in Australia with just 2 bags of clothing. Che worked as a factory machinist and eventually saved enough to invest in a tissue manufacturing company. It soon began to fail due to financial mismanagement, so Che quickly took control. She owed $800,000 to the bank and to friends, but refused to declare bankruptcy. Instead, she used her remarkable entrepreneurial skills to transform Shea paper products into an outstanding success.
I found it's very hard to start the business here. Number one is the language is very important. When we came, we don't speak very much English. And there also we got a small children, young children that we have to look after. And a new country, new life, different culture from our country. But we appreciate that the people in Australia are very friendly. I appreciate the government of Australia taking us from refugee camp to come to have a new life in Australia, which we dream every day. We are the tissue manufacturer of facial tissue, toilet paper, toilet roll, serviettes, and interleaf towel, paper towel. We are 100 Australian owned. We service to retail, supermarket, house brand, and industrial product as well. The business started to grow from year 1992 when we win a tender from retail supermarket. Because our quality and price very good, and we are a small company, we got not much overhead, that's why we can compete and win the contract. Our service to make sure the customer happy with the product and to make sure the delivery on time. That's what is very special in our company. I believe every business or everything that we do to be a success, I believe that we have to have honesty, loyalty, tolerance, and put all our effort into it. For myself, I would like to have some charity work, to do some charity work when I retire. And I love to see the children taking over the business and grow the business themselves to have a better life than me, what I came through.
Congratulations, Che Hua Hung. Your refusal to give in is a lesson for us all, and a beautiful frock as well, if I may just add there. Anthony Khoury still remembers his mother cutting Lebanese bread to look more like the bread the other kids took to school. Her family mightn't have been able to afford regular loaves, but her children were still going to feel like they belonged. Well, it worked. Because today, Anthony and his brothers are living the dream of countless Aussie lads They're the only designers and manufacturers of full production, handmade motor vehicles in the world. Their luxurious, exotic Bufori sports cars have attained the highest levels of acclaim from the most humble beginnings.
How did the Bufori Motor Car Company started? It started when Jerry wanted to build a car for himself, and then we decided we'd build one for each of the three of us, George, Jerry and myself. No idea, no concept, no preconceived plans to make it a business. We just decided to build a hobby. Everything about Bufori is unique, everything. From the way it's made, handmade, totally handmade, the way it looks, the way it performs, the technology that's gone into it, and it's the sort of car that you hand down to your great-grandchildren. It's there for life. It's a magnificent motor car, tailor-made, and everything about it, as I say, is unique. Some of the difficulties we encountered in setting up Bufori were no funding, no preconceived plan, no business plan. It was never designed as a business, so we had to make the business completely self-funded. We had no government support, no sponsorships, no foreign investors. Whatever we did, we had to generate the income from within the company and from within the family resources to be able to build it to this extent. And 16, I don't know how many years later, we're definitely not deterred. We're about to launch the new model. We've had a soft launch of our new car, the La Jolla, at the Singapore Motor Show, and hopefully by November it should be ready for sale. My brother Jerry in Malaysia with his incredible team of craftsmen have come up with the most amazing, gorgeous luxury car you'll ever imagine, sports car. And the Bufori that you're going to see shortly is fabulous, and it's going to recoup and cover the entire hardship of getting to this stage very, very quickly. Wait till you see it. My dream for the future is to show the world that we are well and truly capable of being up there with the big players in this industry and producing the best, most beautiful car in the world.
Congratulations, Anthony Curry. And how's this for irony? The cars are apparently so sought after that Anthony and his brothers are still on the waiting list. By the age of 9, Sam Harb's schooling was over. Instead, he had to work to help support his poverty-stricken family in Lebanon. In 1977, Sam and his two older brothers left their war-torn homeland for Australia with just $50 between them. Sam quickly found a job as a council labourer and in 1983 decided to put the skills he'd gained to good use in his own paving business. With borrowed tools, nightly letterbox drops and the support of his wife Annette, Sam the paving man has become one of the largest paving contractors in Australia.
I run a paving contracting, right? And this is, we lay bricks on the ground. We do commercial jobs. We do domestic work from the smallest job to the largest job. I had no truck, no nothing, and you know, like climbing from one job to the other. And the first $3,000 I made, I went and bought a small truck with it. And then we end up from 2 guys to 4 guys to 6 guys to 10 guys, and then the business grew until when we had the greatest opportunity by doing the major work in Australia. It's the whole Olympic side. In my own mind, I thought this is the greatest opportunity anyone can have. And I was aiming for my gold medal from the beginning. This is all what I wanted to do. And Sydney Olympic, it was the biggest paving work has been done in the Southern Hemisphere. And we're not talking about 1,000 bricks or 2,000 bricks. We're talking about 260,000 square meters. And it's, to put it in actual bricks, it's nearly 14 million bricks. In running a successful business, definitely it's the teamwork. It's training your own men in your own hand and teaching them the right way of doing the work, and then having the right staff in the office. And without Annette, I wouldn't be able to do it. She run all the paperwork and she look after all the quotes. And without that teamwork, I would not be able to succeed for what I have succeeded. The reason why we came here because of the fighting in Lebanon, and I had a great opportunity through my sister to apply for me for a visa to come to Australia, and that was the best thing I ever done. I like to control the business and keep it as it is and keep it under control, and hopefully one day my kids will be able to take it on, and then it will be samthepavingman.com. Right now it's samthepavingman without .com.
And congratulations, Sam Harb, on behalf of Annette as well, by the sound of it, on yet another Olympic triumph. And thank you, Joseph Asaf, for presenting all the certificates. Well, ladies and gentlemen, it seems we are at the business end of the Ethnic Business Awards. And I would like to ask the Honourable Ian Macfarlane, the Minister for Industry, Tourism and Resources, to join me on stage to present the Initiative Award. And would Mr Maxwee Wah from Singapore Airlines please come up as well.
Thank you very much, Geraldine, and to Joseph Asaf and his wife Angela, our hosts tonight, judges, of course. And I'm not sure who put Carla's empathy next to my wife. She needs no encouragement to get involved in fashion. The sponsors, of course, my parliamentary colleague Laurie Ferguson, award nominees, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much for the very kind invitation to attend tonight. Of course, I don't know a great deal about Sydney, except the best thing that Sydney's ever had I now have, and that's my wife, who was born here. But it is, of course, very much the multicultural heartland of Australia. And in the times that I visit here, it impresses me with its cultural diversity and its energy. The Prime Minister, John Howard, of course, has asked me to express his disappointment at missing these awards. He has attended in the past, and God willing, will attend in the future. He's asked me to pass on a short message from him. He says, "It gives me great pleasure to send my good wishes on the occasion of the 2002 Ethnic Business Awards. I understand the awards were first held in 1988, making this the 14th consecutive year in which this occasion has provided an opportunity to acknowledge and celebrate the contribution which ethnic business has made to Australia. Over the past 100 years, Australia has benefited enormously from the rich cultural traditions and the enterprising spirit of the people who have migrated here from over 140 countries. The importance of such events as the Ethnic Business Awards cannot be emphasised enough. Such occasions promote understanding and the appreciation of the contributions of overseas-born Australians within the wider community, maintaining and strengthening the social cohesion that Australia enjoys. It is through efforts such as these that we can remain one of the most harmonious and culturally diverse countries in the world. The organisers and sponsors of the 2002 Ethnic Business Awards are to be commended for their efforts. I congratulate the winners of tonight's awards and those who have been named as finalists in what is clearly a highly competitive field. I trust that all involved will enjoy the celebrations, and I can only say hear, hear to that. Ladies and gentlemen, the Multicultural Australia Awards really began not so long ago for Australia in terms of multiculturalism. In fact, around about 1947 is seen to be when Australia took on a new dynamic in terms of multiculturalism. Many of us, of course, are grateful for Australians who have come here, born in another country and contributed greatly to this, our country. Even myself, as my father-in-law is a foreign-born Australian. In terms of that event, of course, the 1947 timeline associates very closely with one of the great schemes of Australia, the Snowy Mountain Scheme, which saw construction of a scheme in 15 years at a cost of $1 billion, but a multicultural legacy that has lived on to this day. About 60,000 migrants from more than 30 countries came here with varying levels of skills, some none at all. But they did share one thing, and that is a great work ethic and an initiative that has not diminished over the past 60 years. Companies that these days are just household names like Teese Brothers and Hume, of course, owe their origins to that scheme. Our government continues to this day to encourage skill migration to Australia, and the Skilled Stream program targets migrants who have key skills and outstanding abilities in terms of their potential contribution to Australia. No discussion tonight, though, would be full without speaking of small business, and as an ex-small businessman myself, can I say quite sincerely that small businesses, as well as large, but particularly small businesses, are the backbone of Australia's economy. Some 1.2 million small businesses are established in Australia, but the interesting statistic of that is that the Sydney University of Technology has conducted a study which found that half of all small businesses could be described as ethnic. That is, that they are owned and operated by first or second generation migrants. I think that is an outstanding example of the contribution that ethnic Australians have made to the business community as a whole. Of course, in terms of my own department, Oz Industry, we continue to encourage small business and large through a whole range of programs which are designed at ensuring that Australia continues to not only have sound businesses, but to have sound, innovative businesses. Can I thank you again for having me to these awards tonight? As I said, the depth of the contribution of businesses cannot be overstated. It is an honour to be part of an evening that rewards a new generation of entrepreneurs, and can I congratulate all nominees. Your commitment, your achievement and your gains have been a great inspiration to us all. Thank you very much.
Thank you indeed, Mr McFarlane, and it is an honour to be involved in these awards tonight. I just think they're wonderful awards. Now, the Special Initiative Award tonight goes to a person the judges believe who best embodies the ideals of courage and perseverance, and who, despite many setbacks along the way, turned hardship into success. And he's going to announce it.
Ladies and gentlemen, the winner of the 2002 Initiative Award is Shea Wah Hung.
Ladies and gentlemen, and honourable guests, good evening. I would like to thank ADCOM, the National Bank of Australia, not only tonight, but for supporting us for 6 years, for the last 6 years. SBS, Telstra, Western Union, Hermitage, and the other sponsors and supporters of this evening. I have lived through the killing field in Cambodia, the refugee camp in Thailand, and for the past 20 years have called Australia home. I love Australia and its people very much. Australia has given me many things, including a new life start. In my life, I never expect to be here. I hope that my experience will teach the younger generation not to take things for granted, and that you can achieve anything as long as you set your heart to it. This award proves that, and it goes to everyone who has ever had to cross hard road to get to where they are. We all deserve an award. I thank the Australian people for accepting. I thank for Australian people for accepting me and my family And mostly, I would like to thank my husband, sons Loon, and daughters Sif and Sif, for all their love and support, for without them, I would not be here today.
Awfully afraid we might lose the award winner down the steps. She's sort of survived Cambodia and might survive these steps. And ladies and gentlemen, would you care to congratulate again Che Hua Ung? And now, just as we revel in that story and in the generosity and grace with which the award has been received, let's take a moment to review the finalists in the small business category.
First, we discovered a unique learning centre called La Lingua Language School. In plain English, founder Masaka Koga with partner Craig Mark have helped thousands of fellow migrants grasp the spoken word. Next, we visited Katina Knitting Mills. The company Stan Seprolatis began in his spare bedroom is now exporting thermal underwear internationally. Talk about working from the bottom up. And finally, we strutted the fashion runway with Australian Designer of the Year, Akira Isagawa. His label, Akira Design Studio, features in some of the most prestigious boutiques in the world.
Certainly some impressive Australians there. And speaking of which, here to present tonight's Small Business Award is Chief Executive Officer of Telstra, Dr. Ziggy Switkowski.
Geraldine, Telstra is privileged to be associated with a small number of special awards around the country, and this certainly merits our support because, as we have heard this evening, finalists and winners have demonstrated an extraordinary ability to come to this country, overcome personal, social and community challenges, end up with inspirational stories, creating small and then larger businesses that add to the economic engine of this nation, as well as extend the very texture of the societies in which we've all operated. And certainly the finalists and the winners merit our respect and deserve the congratulations that I'm sure that we will extend to them this evening. Geraldine, the winner of the 2002 Small Business Award is Masaka Koga of the La Lingua Language School.
Oh, well, on behalf of Masako, who's still in Japan at the moment, I'd like to thank EdCom and the sponsors, the judges and all the finalists. It's a very distinguished company to be amongst. And I'd like to thank all our students, past and present, who have shown their trust in us and that we've been trying to give our best service to them, and we'll hopefully continue to do so. I'd also like to very much thank all our wonderful staff, teachers and admin staff, some of whom are here tonight. They're very professional, very hardworking, and without them we couldn't provide the high quality service that we do. Masako actually started not only with $2, but the very day after she finished her master's degree in linguistics at SUNY University, and she figured, well, what am I going to do now? Well, might as well start a language school. And she started when she was about 25, so she was rather young when she did it as well. And even without being familiar with the English culture and the business culture of Australia, she overcame many difficulties and struggles to get where we are today. So on behalf of her, thank you very much.
And Craig Mark from La Lingua Language School accepting the award on Masako's behalf. Thank you very much indeed. Congratulations. And thank you to Dr. Switkowski for presenting the award. And there is just one award left, so let's recap our finalists in the medium to large business category.
We began by watching freight transport giant Blue Star Logistics deliver the goods, thanks to the friendly and accommodating business approach adopted by Managing Director Khalil Idar. Shea Hyun had us spinning in amazement. Despite having to escape Cambodia's killing fields and endure numerous financial setbacks, she turned Shea Paper Products into a huge success. We took to the open road next with Anthony Curry in the driver's seat. His Bafuri motor vehicle company regularly steals the limelight at the major car shows around the world. And finally, we paved a path to Sam Harb, better known as Sam the Paving Man. With very little education, English or money, he still managed to become one of Australia's largest paving contractors.
Some very tough decisions were made by the judges, and I was just speaking to Carla Zampatti at our table, who wanted to make the point that these are people who have had dreams, as a lot of us have had, but they've turned dreams into something far more, which has required extraordinary discipline. And I didn't quite realise that the judges sit there with all the financials in front of them, and they have to effectively put themselves in the minds of a business person and assess whether these businesses, however marvellous they look, are likely to last. Because the idea is not to award somebody something and then they immediately fall over. So that there is a great effort to stand back from the sentimentality, the sheer gloriousness of the stories, and to look systematically at how this person has created this dream into something of a viable business which has a future. Now, I felt it was important to add that because it was something that hadn't immediately struck me, but as soon as you made aware of it, of course, it becomes blindingly obvious that this is an award not only about the present, but about businesses and engine rooms of the future. So, big decisions being made in the judging room. And I'd like now to present the Medium to Large Business Award, the General Manager of Business Financial Services for the National, Mr. Wayne Rees.
Thank you, Geraldine. The National is very, very proud to be continuing its involvement with these awards, and we continue to be fascinated by businesses coming from very small beginnings to be very, very successful and very large businesses. And I think you'll all agree there's been some fantastic stories here tonight. And the winner of the 2002 Large Business Award is Anthony Curry of the Bufori Motor Car Company.
Now, would you like to say a few words?
I think this is better than the other thing they talk about. Ooh. Can I? Yes, please. It's a bit heavy. Wow. Somebody said you better prepare something just in case. Well, and I have, and I've just prepared something very small. Now, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. It's indeed truly a great honour for me to have been selected even as a finalist in these awards, much less to be chosen as a winner for the 2002 EdCom Business Awards. I can assure the other nominees that they need not feel that they have in any way come second. Indeed, the mere fact that any of us made it here in the first place is a major achievement and a distinct win for all of us. I'd like to thank the sponsors who for the past 14 years have allowed their organisations to maintain their active and most positive involvement in these awards. Without such committed sponsors, the prestige and the value of these awards would be totally lost. My sincere thanks to all of the judges for selecting Bufori as a winning company. This win is a complete vindication of the enormous battles we constantly endure to bring life to our dream, to create to create in every B40 sports car the most beautiful car in the world. I congratulate the entire team of Etcom and especially the chairman, Mr. Joseph Asaf, the prime mover of that company, for their vision and commitment in presenting these most prestigious awards. Their encouragement and support of small business is constant and extraordinary and truly most appreciated. I'd like to extend my heartfelt thanks and appreciation to our nominators. Their faith in our ability and their belief in us as individuals drives and inspires us to attain even higher goals. I am one of 3 brothers. Individually, we are nothing, but united as we are, we have been able to do some truly amazing things. I owe this award, and I accept it in honour of my 2 brothers, George and Jerry, both of whom could not win this award because they're Australian-made and not fully imported as I am. And to our families who have put up with our incredible eccentricity and allowed us to continue with a project which is impossible, it's ridiculous, it's crazy, but at the same time, absolutely beyond imagination and totally breathtaking. And finally, I'd like to take this opportunity to thank Australia for giving so many people from countries around the world the opportunity to settle in Australia and for the countless opportunities it affords us to create and develop small businesses which can grow and become very large ones, thereby employing many people and contributing most positively to the Australian economy and the betterment of all Australians as a whole. It's a great honour to receive this award. I'm very honoured. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you to Wayne Rees and Mr Mack for your help in presenting the awards, and thank you and congratulations to Anthony Curry and to all our other winners and finalists this evening. Again, this is a man who has turned a hobby, he and his brothers, into something sort of madly exciting, as he said, and as Carla pointed out, having seen the financials, exceptionally profitable company. This is not just something they're playing at. And another little anecdote, apparently the Discovery Channel did a story on the car and the company, and they played it, and they got 2 million hits on their website in the subsequent week, and many calls for a repeat, and they have repeated it, which is it's a very unusual decision. So this is something, Carla was quite adamant that we remind everybody of what a truly successful, at every level, this has arisen from this wonderful small kernel of a dream. So congratulations to the Curry brothers. And thank you again to all our judges and to our sponsors who have enabled us to both acknowledge and to reward the invaluable contributions that migrants make to Australian business. A very special thank you indeed. And to everyone else here, and to those of you watching at home, we hope you have been inspired by the talents and the efforts and the struggles and the success stories we have been very privileged to share with you tonight. Thank you and good night.